All right, welcome back, Shifting Gears. You were here because you want to learn how you're going to clean your truck the right way after you're done thrashing through the mud, water, snow, whatever it may be. So we're going to dive in on how to clean these properly, the right way, the safe way, and how to get it back to that showroom look.
So first things first, obviously we're going to want to do the body separately. There's no electronics in it or anything, so feel free to just kind of use water, stuff like that, you know, basic soap, just to kind of scrub away any of the dirt or anything that's on there. And then we're going to do the rest of the truck separately.
Yeah, so under the hose, some Dawn dish soap, I think it'd be all right. And
Should be all right, yeah.
That'll do it for the body. So we're gonna take this body off real quick, and we'll come back when we got the truck down to the frame. This is a Traxxas UDR, unlimited desert racer. So it's a little bit more complex than like the Slash or your other counterparts, because it does have like the full interior and stuff like that. So we'll dive into that here in just a moment.
Alright, what we're going to start with here is we're going to take some compressed air, an air compressor, and try to blow off as much dirt and debris as we can, just to kind of keep our work area clean. That way we don't have a bunch of loose, dirt, mud, sticks, whatever's in there laying all over the table. It also should help with the cleanup, get a bunch of the loose stuff off of there. Honestly, most of the truck you're going to be fine to kind of just straight up blast with air. Obviously you don't want to, force compressed air into connections, the control box, stuff kind of like that, just to be on the safe side. It should be fine if you do, but we want to kind of stay away from that just to be on the safe side.
So we just got done blowing it all out. Jake blew it out pretty good. There's a lot of like mud and like wet sand that this was driven through last time, which is why it's still caked on really bad. We got a lot out, but not as much as I was hoping. So next what we're going to do is we're just going to take some basic Windex. It's cheap. You probably already have it in your house. And some paper towels. And we're just going to kind of wipe down the big, large surfaces that we can. Get as much as we can with just our hand and a paper towel. And then that'll save us time when we're going down in the brush, getting the nitty gritty out of all the creases and stuff.
Alright, and then one thing we did forget to mention earlier is obviously you're going to have some sort of tray, maybe a couple of them if you're going more in-depth. Just to keep things as far as like screws, bolts, nuts, things like that kind of organized, keep them in one location. Spray there. Go ahead and start wiping it down. Yeah, that's working a lot better than that air. Alright, one thing we did forget to show real quick is that we took this side skirt off the side here. There are a couple of spots where you're going to have to take things off to get a deeper clean. Obviously things like in the suspension, you're going to have to take the front tires off. The spare tires, you can get that plate deck thing that's underneath of it. The side plates, you're going to have to take the drivers out at some point. And I'm sure we'll go over all of this as we go further. Alright, so we did kind of forget to record it here, but so far we've pulled the little panels off on the side, and right now I'm working on pulling the drivers out. They're the same little screws that they use for the body. There's 4 of them, they've got 2 here, and then the easier way to do it, on what Ethan did, is pull the fire extinguishers off of the back. The little model fire extinguishers off the back here. They should be mounted right here. And then straight through there in the back, there is 2 more of those screws, and they just hold the drivers down. Next step would be to remove the top of the roll cage, and then the drivers should come straight out of there.
Yeah, so these drivers are a bit of a pain to get out. Basically, it just takes a lot of finagling, and it feels like you're gonna break them. So far, I haven't broke any by bending them like this, so it's worked pretty well for me. It does feel and sound like you're breaking it, but you're actually not, so. just like that. Not too bad, just kind of a little bit of a pain. Just take your time with it, you'll be able to get that out, no problem.
All right, so another important part about cleaning is kind of doing a basic like maintenance check, making sure everything is, you know, tight, in place still. One good example is as I was taking the rear wheels off, I noticed my drive shaft is no longer connected to the rest of the gearbox. So obviously that's something we're gonna have to fix. I'm sure we're gonna have later videos on stuff like that, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. But just a good example as to why you kind of want to check over things as you're taking things apart and cleaning them.
So we've been using Windex with the paper towel to kind of wipe all the main surfaces. Now that we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty, there's going to be grease involved and a lot of caked on mud, and you know, using the toothbrush and brushes to get in there. For that, you're going to want to use a degreaser. That's going to work best. We don't have a degreaser with us, so I made this really cool mix. So you're going to take your glass cleaner and then you're going to come over here with your dish soap. We're using some Dawn. Basically, you just want to kind of pour it in a little bit. Don't need a whole lot, just enough to kind of cover the bottom. And then you're going to take your Windex and fill it up just like this. About like that should do. And you want to give that a good mix the Dawn in there, and it makes a really good little like makeshift degreaser. That's what I used on my UDR, and I had like diff fluid all over the front end, and it did a really good job of getting that all out. So really cool little bonus tip for making your own little bit of degreaser. So we're going to use this and a toothbrush, and we're going to get all the rest of the nitty gritty out and really get this thing back to showroom condition.
All right, so as you guys can see, obviously we got the wheels off and we're kind of moving to the deep cleaning part. Just a basic toothbrush and that mixture Ethan showed you how to make earlier. As you can see, it's doing pretty well, getting majority of the dirt off, if not all of it. Yeah, it's a little bit tedious since it's a bit of a smaller brush, but that's usually what gets the best results because it forces you to kind of move slower as you're cleaning and get some good, like, in-depth cleaning. All right, so as you guys can see here, we've made quite a bit of progress. It's looking a lot better, definitely a lot better. It's pretty easy. It gets a little bit difficult with the toothbrush once you get into kind of the more intricate and small, fine detail stuff. But it does work pretty well. We're probably going to start taking more stuff apart now so that we can get a little bit more in depth. My front diff is leaking on the passenger side a little bit, so it's got a decent bit of gunk and grease and stuff in there. So we'll probably find a way to drop that out, start taking a look at that. Right now we're gonna go, here in a second, we're gonna go use the air compressor to blow the rest of this water out and see if we've missed any spots.
All right, so we just finished cleaning it. It's looking really good. It's still super wet. This is a really crucial step. You're gonna wanna blow dry it either with like a can of compressed air, using a towel, air compressor like we got here, whatever, just dry it off so that you can prevent any rust from getting on like your bolts and stuff. Okay, so we're gonna take our wheels and tires. We're gonna take them off the car. He is doing it the hard way.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna show you an easier way to get these nice and clean. We're gonna use the sink. Okay, so we're gonna do it in the sink. That way we get more water, and it's just gonna make our lives a little bit easier when you're cleaning something like a tire that's got all this intricate tread and the wheel and all that stuff. So try to like use the water to knock off as much of the big mud as you can, and then take your brush. You can use toothbrush or really any kind of brush, and just kind of, this one has a little bit of soap on it, so you can take your Dawn dish soap, pour a little bit onto your toothbrush or whatever brush you're using, and then you just want to go in all different directions, so up, down, left to right, circles, just to make sure you work in the soap and the bristles into every little nook and cranny. Okay, so now we are in the bathroom. You can also do this outside, but it's a little cold out where we're at now, so just gonna stay inside and do this in the bathtub. Pretty simple on this one. All you really need is like a toothbrush maybe, sponge, or a towel, a little bit of soap. Okay, and that is one semi-clean RC car body. This is kind of our thrash body, so it's pretty damaged and messed up already. So I didn't want to spend too much time on it. But just a quick little rinse down already made it look a lot better. That's gonna look pretty decent on the truck now that truck's clean as well. So yeah, that's about it. That's how you properly clean your Traxxas or any RC car for that matter. Obviously, it's looking pretty good now. It's not quite perfect. It's one of those things where the more time you spend on it, the better it's gonna look. So at the end of the day, it looking pretty good for what we were going for. Like I said, this is just kind of like our basher. So we weren't really going for like a super clean look. We just needed to get it clean because we haven't cleaned it in a while. So yeah, I think that's all I've got. You got anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. Give us your feedback. I highly recommend you go check out our other sources of content, such as our podcast and various other activities that we're doing. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we talk about in the podcast, as well as some of the other videos. So definitely a lot more coming along, especially with Traxxas and UDRs, as well as real race cars and things like that. So a lot of really cool stuff planned. The more you guys help and interact and let us know what you guys are thinking, the quicker and easier we can get to some really cool stuff. So yeah, that's all we got for today.